All right, y'all. Give y'all a second. Before I just start rambling, do you have any questions? Y'all want to talk about anything? Anything in specific? Yeah, about riding the law of one, yeah. Amun Ra, yeah. We know about it. We know it's just water with chlorophyll. Water with chlorophyll. If you're trying to get in better shape, do you have to work for it or just accept it as reality? The work, you're speaking about these two things like they're separate. Okay, there's only identity. Everything is downstream from identity. So when I decide that I'm a marathon runner, what comes first? The decision that I'm a marathon runner or the running? Or the marathon, right? I don't become a marathon runner in the marathon. I become a marathon runner the moment that I make the decision that I am a marathon runner. And now what actually happens is that actions seem to simply flow from that identity. That's what happens. Okay? I don't force myself to become one. Have you ever fasted, or if you ever had like a substance thing, okay? What you'll find is that the thing that heals okay, let me put it in a different way. Let me not say heals. So I'm on a fast now. When I'm constantly moment by moment trying to struggle with my desire to eat, it feels like resistance. It feels like effort. When I simply know that I'm healthy and I am disciplined, now all of a sudden the action is downstream from that choice. So I naturally go for a walk. I naturally stay away from the food. That's it. So you think that when you're constantly fighting yourself down there from the place of action or thought or emotion, it feels like struggle. Waking up and forcing yourself to go to the gym, it feels like struggle. When you decide that you just are someone who works out, I just am someone who is disciplined. Now downstream from that, you begin to take those actions, right? Yeah, naturally allowing God to glorify himself in you. You're surrendering to the truth of who you are. Surrender to the truth of who you are. You're still thinking that somehow you're not doing anything. Your identity is playing out. Everything is happening. But your identity is filtering the actions that this physical vessel is taking, leading you to your results. But you're not actually doing shit. You're just surrendering to what you are. Does that make sense? I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I'm grateful to be on this journey with you, with all of y'all. All right, I'll let y'all warm up on the questions for a little bit. There was one thing that I was going to just ramble about for a second. One of the things that is dangerous on this spiritual path is fake holiness. Okay, it's fake holiness. When you really think about reality creation, manifestation, spirituality, whatever the case may be, everything before quote unquote enlightenment, before the realization that you already are everything that you desire to be, everything is ego. Meditating more is ego, right? Now I know that somebody's going to misinterpret that, but it's fine, right? I'll put out the message. You'll take it how you take it. But me meditating for the purpose of being more enlightened is still just ego trying to be something different. Me doing all of these affirmations, trying to become something, is still just ego trying to do something. It isn't until you actually cross that bridge into the knowing that I am nothing and everything, I just am everything, where you're actually operating in that truth, which is a very interesting paradox, right? And so one of the things that can become pretty dangerous on that path is when someone believes they have to suppress their humanity to become spiritual. And then they create a new identity. Let me give you an example. The person who fights away their lust, suppresses it, and they just become a horny celibate person. And now their attempts to suppress their lust just becomes another identity. Even if you think of a person on that substance abuse, right? And they can create a whole new identity as just somebody who is trying to not be on that substance. Okay? So you can become so obsessed with not having sex, with not smoking, with not indulging, with not wanting, that your entire life becomes about resisting those things, which actually turns resistance into the addiction itself. So what is the greater message here? Like, what is the greater message here? The greater message is, at what point do you simply realize that you're enough? When does it become about integration of these parts of you versus suppression? One thing about this journey, about this path, about this moment of realization is, have you began to notice how beautiful of a quote unquote structure the ego is? Meaning, you are feeling so enlightened. You're feeling so good and enlightened for a little bit, and then something happens, and all of a sudden that story pops up in your head and says, nah, you're not it. At just these random ass times, right? That story just pops up. Nah, you're not it, right? And so now all of a sudden there's this new layer presented to you. There's this new layer that's presented to you for you to actually get closer to the truth of who you are. Absolutely beautiful. The more aware you become of this, and the more you realize this isn't personal, it's just a defense mechanism, it's just a human experience, the more you see how intricate the design of that brain of ours is. It's just constantly throwing things at you. It's constantly giving you an opportunity to go deeper within yourself. All right. Suppose you started controlling more than integrating. Does that feel like effort? Does that feel exhausting? I would argue that it might feel exhausting. All right. Good old late night live. Trying to control versus integrate can often feel, especially when it's things like lust. That was a big thing for me. It was trying to suppress it. Right. That became just another addiction in itself. This is why you have a bunch of men that walk around and their identity is that they're on semen retention. This is their identity. My identity is that I'm on retention. 53 days. But I had a relapse, right? It just becomes an addiction in itself. So you had an addiction to the release at first, and now you have an addiction to suppressing the release now. Right? When the thing that we struggle with, it becomes an identity to not struggle with it, or it becomes an identity to suppress it, how are we just trading one vice for another? Are we just trading one vice for another? I appreciate your thing. Yeah. Let me see if I hit Instagram. I didn't even hit live on Instagram. Let me hit live on Instagram right now. How do you go about things you can't control? You come to the deeper realization that you really can't control anything. What can you control? Right? The stars move themselves, your cells take care of themselves, your heart beats itself. Life just happens. Life just does what it does. The only thing that you get to control is your perspective, your view of self. How you see yourself is the only thing that you can control. So even believing that there's something for you to control is an illusion in itself. You control your perspective of yourself, and things seemingly show up to match that. But that's it. Yeah, God's will is our will. And yeah, you can manifest someone that's left 7 times. But if you hold on to the story that they've left 7 times, you're going to be asking, how can you manifest somebody back 8 times? So as long as you're keeping score like that, then you're going to be saying, well, how can I do it 8 times? How can I do it 9 times? Honestly, that doesn't even make sense. If you've done it 7 times, then does it even make sense for you to ask if you can do it another time? The proof is already there, isn't it? So who are you getting permission from? All right. The issue is not can you, right? The issue is what makes you think that you're in some kind of pattern like that. What makes you think that you're in a pattern where you're not receiving what you want 7, 8, 9 times, something showing up and disappearing? How can experience exist without a conceptual self? Experience, the conceptual self, are both concepts. There's only oneness. There's only unity. There's only all that there is. So what you consider the conceptual self or the quote unquote ego or this physical reality, both of them are just concepts. Physical reality is everything, but the conceptual self is the filter through which you see reality. So the conceptual self and the reality match. They're the same thing. The conceptual self is what you see out there when you look at reality. And that's it. How do I access the live? I'm new here. Yeah, you can ask questions here. You can ask questions here. You can ask questions on YouTube. Thank you, Faith Over Fear. I have a voice coach. I have a voice coach that teaches me how to speak. I'm just playing. But thank you. Double, triple texting you today. Look at you. Double and triple texting. Beautiful. What else y'all want to talk about? Matter of fact, if y'all want to join and talk, you can do that too. We can do. If y'all want to join and talk, you can do that too. No, you didn't miss anything. I just started. I just didn't pull out an actual discussion topic. Does it mean everyone is simply a process? No, not necessarily. Not everybody's not just a process. Everybody is their own individual expression of God, right? Everybody is all that there is. but you never experience the truth of what anyone else is anyway. You only experience your version of them within your consciousness, within your awareness. That's it. All right. If you really study your life, become a student of your life, you never, it's going to be very difficult if you really study your life, people very rarely, if ever, break out of the boundary of the prison of the definition that you've placed them in. Meaning, when you decide that that person is a selfish motherfucker, they're going to struggle to get out of that identity. Even if it looks like they're not being selfish for a second, somehow, some way, they will revert back to selfishness because you've already defined them. The people in your life that have changed or surprised you are the people that you've actually walked up to with curiosity and said, you know what, fuck it. I don't really know, but I'm going to be open. I'm going to see what they got to say. Those are the people that change, right? The people that you say this motherfucker, they just never going to get right. Those aren't the people that change. Those are not the people that change. Now, what can this tell you about the nature of curiosity or the nature of reality curiosity? Do you get the greatest results from forcing this person? They do this, that person loves me, that person loves me. Or knowing who you are. I am the person that people show up in this beautiful way for, and actually approaching life with the curiosity, seeing what is actually unfolding next. Just a rhetorical question to think about. When you have a tight grip on reality and you're looking out there saying, this person must show up like this, show up like this, show up like this, they better show up like this. Do you tend to have great results, or you have more results when you decide, no, I'm just the person that gets treated like this. Let me just be curious about what the next moment holds and allow it to unfold in a way that matches the truth of who I am. Just something to think about. Let me see these YouTube questions. The old version of me used to be constantly in a control loop. Nah, for sure. Nah, for sure. The old version of me used to be constantly in a control loop as well. I used to want to control everything. It's crazy because I've never felt more in control of my life than I do now. And I try to control the least amount of things. Right? I don't control the women I deal with. I don't control shit. I simply know who I am. You know what's interesting is that what we believe about ourselves, right, can easily fade away, right? But what we know about ourselves is absolutely unshakable. Absolutely unshakable, right? Do spirits come into play? I mean, if you decide that they do, sure. But you don't have to have a reality where, you got spirits and other entities coming to play into your life. You are a sovereign being, meaning you are beyond the control of anyone. There's nothing outside of you that has any kind of control or influence over you unless you decide that. So you don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything about all the entities and all that. You don't have to worry about that shit, basically. Long story short, you ain't got to worry about that shit. Yeah, the lovers, every now and then I like doing the love. I love doing the love lectures. Those are my favorite ones. When I talk about love, especially the love from a non-duality perspective, those are always my favorite discussions. Those are always my favorite discussions. be at minimum accepting of current situation, impress the mind with the desired done. I can get with that. I can get with that. If I had to remix that to how I would say it, what I would say, I would add one more step. I would say, know that you are everything. Recognize that the spark of God is within you in some way. Recognize that you are God. The spark of God is within you. You are all that there is. All states exist within you. Some variation of that. Understand that what I see out there is what it is. But because I've recognized the truth, I can still choose who I am right now. So it is what it is, but I am that I am. Right? I am that I am. And then that is all. When we talk about like impressing the mind with the desire done, it's just I choose that the truth is I am the person I desire to be. Right? So to me, it's less of an impression and more of a choice of truth, a decision. And I can return to that decision in whatever way I need. I can return to that decision via affirmation, visualization, via whatever, via dipping in a bathtub in the middle of the day, howling at the moon, whatever you want to do. So yeah, those are the kind of two steps I go to. Return to the knowing I'm everything. I'm all realities, all states. Now choose who I am from there. But also keep in mind, I am everything I desire to be. I am all things. That's good enough of a state. Good enough of a state. So why I will constantly say to lean on the knowing that you are everything and then choose is because when we don't do that, it turns into a battle with reality. For instance, let's say that you want more money. Now you're looking at the bank account. The bank account says you have negative $32. And you're saying, I am prosperity. No, I am prosperity. What it feels like you're doing is it feels like you're trying to overwrite reality. If I say this enough, it'll change. You're trying to do a magic trick. And it becomes frustrating. It feels exhausting. It's tiring. It's draining. Right? It feels like effort. Instead, we're going to not take an outside-in approach. We're going to take an inside-out approach. The inside-out approach is I'm doing what? I'm taking a step back and I'm deciding or I'm recognizing, oh wait, all realities exist within me. So the truth is I already am prosperity. I've always been prosperity. Boom. So I make the choice from that recognition. And so I'm leaning now on the truth instead of what's out there. What's out there just is what it is. I'm accepting that situation. But guess what? I am that I am. Okay? So you had deja vu, please. Quit gatekeeping what? Speak your mind. If you're going to say something, say it. If you think you know something, then say the shit. How about karma and doing merits, and is it even real? If you decide it's real, sure. If you decide that there's some kind of ledger in reality that is keeping you from something or holding you back, then there is. Because you're that divine, you're that powerful that you can make that choice. But you can also decide that you're already it, that the only moment that there is right now. Okay? My dog talking in riddles over here. How far the rabbit hole goes. Say what you want to say. Say what you want to say. Stop playing. And how can you manifest money on a time? There is no. So first of all, recognize that what you call a time crunch, all right? All that is one moment. It's information about one moment in time, one moment within infinity. But you are eternity. So it can be something that you see, but you don't have to see it as the absolute truth. You even accepting that time crunch is the absolute truth is already saying that you believe you don't have it. Because if there was not a time, because if you had it, you wouldn't be on a time crunch, right? So you can see it without allowing it to be the truth. This is why it's such a powerful thing for you to not even be aware of it. Of course, I already have it because all realities exist within me. I'm already everything I desire to be. And because I'm everything that I desire to be, guess what? It's already done. And therefore, there is no time crunch. And therefore, whenever that timeline gets there, whether we get to it, pass it, it disappears beforehand, either way, it doesn't exist. Either way, it doesn't exist. But remember, there's only now. There is no time crunch, 7 days, 14 weeks in the future. There is only what you accept as truth right now. String together the now moments of you being present and knowing who you are. This is where your point of power is. Okay? This is where your point of power is. Okay? If your thoughts are driving your life and they're not good, then how present are you? Now, you don't have them blocked, Alexis. It's on YouTube. It's not on TikTok. It's on YouTube. They're YouTube comments. They're just trolling. They're not talking about nothing. Our thoughts and emotions. Yes, that is true. Your thoughts and emotions. So if you believe that you are getting drugged around by your thoughts, what I would ask you is how present are you? What percentage of the day are you walking around in the knowing of who you are, that I'm what I desire to be, and you're allowing your state of being to actually be dictated by that choice in the moment? So are you the one who is choosing who you are, or are you just unconsciously walking through life willy-nilly, thoughts and emotions just going all over the place and wondering why you can't get what you want when you're not even here in this only moment that you create? You only create now. Boom, pause, time out, everybody right now. Who are you right now? Have you been present in this discussion? Have you been sitting in the knowing of who you are right now? Or are you just scrolling halfway through TikTok, through Instagram, going through, where are you? So when you're telling me that your mind is everywhere and I say, well, who are you? Did you just have to scramble and remember it? Or have you actually been present? Have you actually been in the knowing of who you are? Who have you been? So there is a simple way to alleviate all of that, your thoughts getting pulled over the place. What is that simple way? Presence. Your presence is your shield. When you are present, when you are in flow, when you are walking through life and then knowing that I am everything I desire to be, guess what? You tend to naturally think right. You tend to naturally act right. You tend to naturally be right and do right. It is Friday the 13th, ain't it? So your remedy is your presence. Your presence is such a powerful tool. Are we here because God wanted to experience separation or something different? Experience separation or experience itself? What you mean? Experience separation or experience itself? Our nervous system sometimes takes time. Maybe. It could take time. Why are we here? What's all this about? What if there is no meaning? What if the nature of creation is to create? And it doesn't need a reason to do that because creation is its nature. Now what? The human mind wants to create a reason for God, right? The human mind needs something to grasp onto. We want to give human attributes to what's beyond that, right? That's why we create things like religion. We want to make God like us, right? And if you go to all these religions and all these different, things, they try to make God like them. They try to make God in alignment with their morals. So it's just a natural thing for it to be like, well, what is the purpose of all this? Why is God doing this? If I'm God, why did I come here, right? What if there's no reason? What if your nature is just to create? Does the seed need a reason to become a leaf or become a tree? Or is it just its nature? Would it still grow without a reason? If you just create, if the purpose of creation is to create, would it still create without a reason? Well, the answer is yes, because that's just its nature. You don't need a reason to be what you naturally are. Now, we can make stories that give concessions to help us understand, right? When I talk about love, I often talk about God wants to taste himself within another, the essence of God recognizing it. The essence of God can recognize the essence of God within another, but is there a purpose behind it? Or as humans, do we come in and we try to attach purpose and we say soulmate, twin flame? I've just known you through lifetimes. I know you. I know. Is that just a human grasping? Is that just a human grasping for reason? Does it matter if there's a reason or a purpose? Processing your emotions, it'll help you feel better, sure. It will help you feel better. Will it help you get what you want? If you believe that it will help you get what you want, sure. If that's what you believe, if you believe it's going to help you get what you want, then sure. Say cook oxtails. Care about the reason, enjoy the ride. Same here. Same here. Same here. Semantics. I should have said no. Whatever you know to be true. Alexis, why don't you actually listen to the shit that can help you instead of trying to pick apart the meaningless shit like belief versus truth? Well, why don't you focus on the bigger message instead of looking at that? You know what I mean? Knowing versus belief. It does make sense. If you accept this truth that fixing your feelings will help you, then it will. You know damn well that belief and doubt don't matter. You ask questions you already know the answer to and try to play dumb. So the more we identify that we're God, all our desires will just fall into place effortlessly. Well, let's think about that, okay? You identify that I am God. What does that actually mean to you? When you say I am God, does that mean to you that all of your desires are truth? Or does that just mean that you're God? What does it mean to you? So when I say that I'm God, it means that I am all love. I am the fulfillment. I am everything I desire to be. I am prosperity. It means I am everything that I desire to be, point blank, period. Is that what it means for you? Or are you just looking for some technique thinking if I say that I am God, that means that I'll get something? Are you using I am God as a token to place in the vending machine of reality to get something? Well, you can only get what you have. So we say, I am God from a sense of ownership, from a place of knowing, from a place of truth within our being. And the physical manifestation of that, it shows up just as a reflection of how I see myself. But when I'm constantly doing stuff to get stuff, I'm saying I don't have it. I'm saying I don't have this shit. So how can it show up if I don't have it? Like, remember, there's only you. You are reality. So it doesn't matter how you see out there. It matters how you see you. This is why the person who is constantly in a state of doubt don't get shit. The person who is constantly trying to believe in something outside of themselves, they might get mixed results. The person that believes in self, the person that knows themselves as reality, becomes the master of this. If it's fear, it's fragrance, love is real. Making everything that you want a memory. I have no problem with it, but I also don't think it's necessary, right? I've said things like, we've remembered ourselves incorrectly, right? So when it comes to like love, thinking that I have been unloved because people have left me, that means I've remembered myself incorrectly because I'm basing who I am on what I see out there. The truth is I've never been unloved. I've never been left because I've always been one with source. How could I ever be left or abandoned or unloved or unworthy or not prosperity? Or bro, how could I ever be any of those things if I actually go to the truth of who I am? So sure, I can make it a memory in the sense of how I would do it. And I can only speak from my perspective. How I would do it is say, well, yeah, I've always been loved. That's a memory. I've always been prosperity. Sure, I'm making the choice right now, the quote unquote choice, but is it a choice? It's a recognition. I've always been loved. I've always been in alignment. I've always been perfect. Everything's always been working out for me. Right? Absolutely perfect right there. So yes, you can make it a memory and be like, because I've heard people say things like, they've always loved me. Or it's a memory, it's already happened. Yeah, sure, if that's what helps you. But your power is still just in the present moment with who you're being, right? Whether I make it a present tense thing, whether I say, I'm gonna do this shit, it's all working out. Okay? Whether I say it's all working out right now, it's all going to work out, or it always has worked out. What really matters is I'm accepting my power in this present moment, right? And I'm stringing them, right? I'm stringing them together. You deal with doubt by realizing that it doesn't matter. Take the power away. The only reason that you want to deal with it is because you think it's a problem. Right? You still think that you have to do something to get. You have to fight the doubt to get. You just are God. You don't have to try to be God. That's just who you are. Right? A dog doesn't have to try to be a dog. A fish doesn't have to try to be a fish. Even if you separate them from other fish, they still gonna act like a fish. It's just their nature. It's just their nature. So you believing that you have to do something with your doubt is already the confession that you believe your doubt has some kind of power, but it doesn't. It's just part of the human experience. It's perfectly fine, right? So in that case, what do we do next? We'll take the power away from the doubt. Say, all right, well, if the doubt doesn't matter, if the doubt did not impact you, then would you be under so much pressure to get rid of it? Probably not. It probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. All right? It probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. Yeah, you can revise if you want, but it's when I talk about revision, I'm talking about it from this moment, right? Deciding who you are right now. Deciding who you are right now. Peter Paul was good. Was good. I've been asking about this same microphone for like 7 live streams. And we already talked about this shit twice. I remember. I remember. You just decide that you already have it. Nah. First time I said it, you for sure acknowledged it. Now you for sure acknowledged it. There's nothing to get out there. There's just your recognition that you already have what you desire. And once you recognize you already have what you desire, you just move through life knowing that it's going to show up some way or the other. Some way or the other. Yeah, I didn't do anything. What's good, family? What's good, my family? But that's fine. That's fine. Sometimes doubt has you shaking. That's just part of you being a human. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? The greatest thing I've manifested. Damn, that's a good question. I don't know. Probably an ice cream cone from McDonald's. The vending machine, the ice cream machine is always broken. I said, let the ice cream machine not be broken today. And it worked. So that's probably the greatest manifestation I've had. No, I've had a couple, but sometimes I get, I hold back when y'all ask me that because I don't like y'all looking for proof like this. I remember when I first got on the journey and people would tell me their success stories, or I would hear one and I'd be like, oh, that's so good for you. Maybe that can happen to me too. And then 5 minutes later, I was like, what the fuck are they doing? And so now I'm trying to replicate their process and shit. Like, here's one thing about the game, right? So, fuck. All right. When you try to apply this like a formula, when you try to apply this like a formula, so let's say that I sit here and I can give you this game, right? And somebody who doesn't really, they hear this and they can go and they can preach it like a formula, right? Do this, do that, do that, do this. What you're going to find is when you preach this like a formula, you're going to run into... Anyways, long story short is don't get so caught up on the success stories, all right? Get caught up on the knowing of who you are. The knowing of who you are. Which podcast? The Core to Connection podcast? Yeah, I did that one a while back. I did that one so long ago. I did that one a long time ago. I was about to say, man, I haven't done any new podcasts. That might be an AI, Alex. The AI Neville Goddard videos always kind of creep me out. They got Neville Goddard saying shit he ain't never said before, talking about SPs. Like, damn, what the fuck? Right, talking about text messages and SPs and shit, and let the man rest in peace. But the way that AI is going, right? Yeah, just go through life knowing that your desires will come. The most rewarding outcome from you really want this success story. I already told you it was the McDonald's. It's the McDonald's machine. McDonald's ice cream machine. Is that not enough for you? They're like, he only manifested an ice cream machine. I can't listen to his ass no more. That might be one of the greatest manifestations I've heard right there. You put your SP in jail for 5 years? The McDonald's ice cream machine, my mom's house is always working. That's the one I used to always go to. Because I used to take her to get ice cream whenever we went to her appointments. I remember that. Like, I used to go pick her up, and then we would drive to her doctor's appointments. This is when my mom had cancer, right? So I used to take her to all these appointments, and I would take her to McDonald's, get her an ice cream cone or a McFlurry. She would always use the same excuse. She'd be like, "Oh, my throat's sore from the treatments and stuff." I'm like, I know it is, but I know you just want ice cream too. So that was they were always working too. Always working. Damn, y'all cooling off with the questions. Y'all cooling off. Does my family watch my life? Nah, my sister does sometimes. Last time my mom saw part of my life, she was like, "Yeah, son, we need to go to church together." But I ask y'all questions. Hell no. So y'all can pretend y'all know the answers. So y'all can just try to say what you think I want you to say. No thanks. I'll say that for the Discord. I try to ask y'all a question and I get all these copy and pasted answers. Does my sister have a something? Nah, she's going down the path though, but nah. Love you too. Love you too. So I did not really answer. Oh yeah, you did. You did. You did give that booty ass answer in the Discord. You're right. I get annoyed by the Discord. Nah. Nah, if I get annoyed by something, I just check out. I don't know about too much. I don't love too much now. Not too much to get annoyed is crazy. Appreciate you, Leslie. I appreciate you, Leslie. Do you consciously choose all of your desires? Are you consciously choosing all of your desires? No. Where do they come from? So in a sense, we could say that all of your desires, whatever you could potentially ever desire, already exists within you. That should actually be a light bulb moment right there. Whatever you could ever potentially desire already exists within you right now. So what does I'm already everything that I desire to be mean? It means you're everything. I am. I am everything. Yep, whatever you fear already exists within you too. Everything exists within awareness, right? Mm-hmm. But fear, remember, fear is an illusion. That's why perfect love casts out fear. Perfect love casts out fear. By recognizing that you already are what you desire to be. And recognizing that your fear isn't the truth. Fear is within your awareness. Right? Fear is within your awareness, but it's not the truth. The truth is you are everything you desire to be. Your desire is the truth. There is no parallel universal reality. You just are reality. You're all realities. They're all within you right now. They're parallel realities, sure, but all of them are you. There are quote unquote parallel realities, but it means all realities exist as potential within you. There's infinite states, infinite potential within you. It's the same thing. Yeah. But when you start thinking of parallel realities, it's almost like you think that you're jumping from side to side into reality. No. You're who you are is the timeline. You are reality. Mm-hmm. This must be a synchronicity. Keep hearing that name in the stream. Once you decide something, it's done. 100%. It's done because you are it. You're it. What about physical death? What about physical death? All right, let's talk about death, okay? Is the physical transition avoidable? Is the physical transition avoidable? You can I am health your way. You can I am health until you blue in the face. Guess what? You still finna die. You still finna look. Everything runs in a cycle, right? Everything runs in a cycle. One of the questions that I asked on the last stream, it was someone had brought up somebody passing away. And sometimes we have to really think about what health means. Right? What health means. How do you define health? Is it the person who's suffering from a terminal illness and all of a sudden that terminal illness is cured? Is it the person that is suffering from the same terminal illness and all of a sudden they come into this peace that allows them to transition? And when they come into that peace, they're able to spread a message that helps other people. Which one of those things is more prosperity and more health? Which one? Right? I know some of y'all are too spiritual, right? So you're going to be like, oh, there's no death, yada, yada. Your body dies. You don't die. Your body does. Your body does. So let's not over spiritualize this, okay? The body decays. Just like grass decays. Just like a tree will decay. Just all these things, they decay. The essence, the truth of who you are, does not die. But the body does, right? Can you choose when? But here's the thing though. Sure you can. Of course you can. You can decide that you're gonna get over whatever, right? Somebody says you have 2 months to live, you still have the final say so in that. However, you can I am health. Will you avoid your physical transition? Will you? What happens when you go to sleep at night? You close your eyes, you fall asleep. Let's say you don't dream. What does it feel like to go to sleep and wake up? Does it feel like 8 hours has passed? Feels like an instant has passed. You can't even measure the time that has passed, right? Does dying have to equal unhealthy though? I don't think that was ever said by anybody, that dying equals unhealthy. I didn't say anything like that. I said, how do you define health? Which one is health? Would health be somebody who overcomes the terminal illness? Or could health be somebody who still comes into this prosperity of information and peace and passes that peace to others, but then still ends up passing? Well, how can I define what health is for them? That is the message that I'm saying. Okay? Let me clarify that before y'all run off and say that I said something that I didn't. I'm saying, what if death is like that? I know what I said. Right? I'm saying, what if death is like that? Perhaps. Maybe. I don't even remember where I was going with the question, y'all. My bad. I'm just ready to eat some food tomorrow. Your boy is ready to eat. We can get back on the deep subjects tomorrow. Shit. I done chopped up some fruit for tomorrow too. And then I had hella consults today. They were like, they were at hella consoles. Water. I just put some chlorophyll in here, that's all. Whew. Yeah. Today was a console day, I ain't gonna lie to you. But it's cool though. I feel like all of them were good. And then one of them, we came up with a new challenge, right? So we're doing the 7-day challenge in the Discord right now, which is about presence. When we finish this one, we're going to do a 7-day challenge that is make yourself the center of reality. So it's going to be a 7-day make yourself the center of reality. It's just going to build on the presence challenge. So for that 7-day challenge, you're actually going to do the quote unquote manifesting the right way, which is make it about you. I am love. So of course, everything is about you. I am love. So of course they love me. I am love. So of course I'm treated this way. I'm going to allow reality to meet me there. Can we start the challenge over? Yeah. The debut missions don't stop. You feel free. You can go through them and pick whatever mission you want any day. Yeah, I'm going to give y'all homework. Your homework is to stop bothering me. That's what y'all's homework is. I got a homework assignment for y'all. Don't send me DMs for 7 days. There's y'all's homework assignment right there. Don't DM Alex. How about that? I feel like that would be a fun challenge. Let's see who folds the first. Who's gonna fold the first on that one? Don't trauma dump your SP to Alex. That's the challenge. 7-day don't fucking trauma dump your SP situation to Alex. That's the challenge I really want y'all to complete right though. Matter of fact, I give whoever win that challenge, I give you a prize. I give you a prize. Your prize is you actually get to sit and listen to me talk about my SP with you for an hour. And you get to give me advice. That's your prize. You get to sit there and listen to me tell you about my SP. That sounds fun, doesn't it? Like, ooh, hell no, I don't want that. I know it doesn't sound fun. Appreciate you, Sensei. Oh yeah, she does. How did I get the revelation of all this? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of this has just shown up. Or what's good, bro? What's good, my brother? No, not since I was young. Not since I was young. Not since I was young. You might be onto something, Katie. You might be onto something. You might be onto something. You might be onto something. I might have none. Appreciate you for being here. I was gonna do the topic. I was gonna do another topic on presence and do another lecture, but didn't want to do one today. But I did want to go live just to do a brief Q&A. But yeah, somebody already said my energy is different. So I feel that. Hey, I know what's good. I'm blessed tonight. I'm blessed tonight. It's fine. I feel it's not that my energy is off. Y'all know that I'll tap in whenever I see I'm fine. Y'all know that I'll tap in once I see a question that intrigues me. Y'all know that I'll go in as soon as I find a question that intrigues me. But so there's really nothing off with my energy. I'm just chilling. I appreciate y'all as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nah, please don't bring that out. Not yet, not yet, not yet. Why do people in psychosis never get what they believe in? What do you mean by that? Why do people in psychosis never get what they believe in? Like people with a condition, like a diagnosed condition? Okay, I got a question for y'all. How would you know that somebody has what they believe in? How do you know that somebody is actually manifesting the life of their reality or the life of their dreams? Because think about this, right? You simply know your perception of them. You think you know what this person wants, don't you? But do you actually know? Do you actually know who they're being? Do you actually know what they want? Or do you just know the version of them that's in your reality that you look at them and you say that they're crazy? They can't get what they want. How do you know that they don't have what they want in their reality? What are you basing that on? Are you basing that on the truth of who they are or your perspective of who they are? Yeah. Okay. Somebody thinks fully they're the president or in a relationship with the celebrity, but they're not. According to who? How do you know what they truly want? You can't know anyone else's reality because you're only in your reality. You're only in your reality. That's first and foremost. You're only in your reality. You already have a perspective that this is a crazy motherfucker that can't get what they want anyway. So they can't get what they want in your reality. The same way, if I believe my mom could not heal from cancer, guess what? She can't in my reality. But when I believe she can, guess what? She can in my reality. It's my reality. So the answer is always in the question, why can't they get what they want? You just answered it. That's why. Yeah, you can simply say that. You can simply say that. And when they say that they are Marilyn Monroe, what do they actually mean by that in their reality? What do they actually mean by that? How do you know that what they were experiencing wasn't exactly what they wanted? You have a judgment of what's right and wrong. This is why somebody can be like, oh, I manifested this. And you can be like, oh, that doesn't really count because if it really manifested, it would have been like this, according to you. But how do you know what they really wanted? How do you know what they really wanted? How about when we have a perception of somebody and they show up completely opposite? What about it? Show up completely opposite according to who? So when they show up completely opposite, are you deciding that this is against what I want? Or are you saying, okay, they just showed up this way, but this is still who I am, and you're allowing them to actually unfold and meet you? Which one is it? I want you to really think about what I'm saying. Okay? Your decision does not mean that you get to predict every step of the path. Your decision means you have just made a decision. Your decision means things will unfold to meet that decision unless you make a new decision. And so if I make a decision, it's all working out. And then it looks like it doesn't. And I say, damn, it's not working out. I've just made another decision, haven't I? Thoughts don't matter, Alexis. Appreciate you, Alexis. Oh, I just allow them to go. How do I handle let me read that to make sure people got it. How do I handle letting unaligned relations with family and friends go as I elevate? Unaligned accord. Okay, so let me give you my perspective. All right. People show up like gurus. So the truth is untouched. Let's say that somebody shows up on this stream and they say, bro, today your life sucked. You were fucking terrible. Okay. What potential reactions could I have? I could have the reaction of internalizing that I could have the reaction of, well, I did my best, and you interpreted it however you interpreted it, and that is absolutely fine. All right. So in both of these cases, it didn't matter what that person did or what that person says. It's about me. All right. Is the goal for me to walk through life and just eliminate everybody and everything that gives me a little bit of fear or anxiety, or is the goal for me to be so rooted in my truth that I understand that my truth is unshakable, therefore I can walk through the valley of the shadow of death and I have to fear no evil? Is the goal for me to create a protective bubble around myself and say, oh no, you're going to hurt my feelings, stay away. Oh no, you're going to say no to me, stay away. Oh no, you're not in alignment, stay away. My vibration. Or is it for me to be actually rooted in truth and be able to live the human experience in that truth? Yes, the question isn't, will there be contrast? Of course there will. You are in the mind of God. You are in the mind of you, where all things exist. The question is, are you actually rooted enough to handle that? So how do I handle people that I'm elevating and may not be in alignment? I look at them for what they are. A different perspective of God. Offering me a different perspective of God. That's it. Now, if you want to cut them off, cool. But I'm not going to make the delete button my primary function with everybody. Oh, I don't like it, delete. Oh, no, go away. Oh, no. Right? Because now I'm completely denying myself even the human experience. No, I'm not saying that you just should just stay in situations that could be like abusive or violence or just get on your nerves. You always have the right to do that. But my first instinct isn't going to be just to cut people off. It's going to be, well, if it's my reality, I'm still going to try to choose. I still want to have a good relationship with the people around me. And one of the things that transformed the relationship I had with my parents was, instead of wanting them to accept my beliefs, I just decided I was going to have a good relationship with them. And that was it. I told you the other day, my mom saw a live stream I was doing, and she wanted to drag my ass into church. Oh, son, we got to pray. Son, we got to pray. Right? No thanks. Okay? But our relationship is beautiful. And that's all I really wanted. You don't want to experience human pain. Sometimes the avoidance, trying to avoid the suffering, just becomes another form of suffering. It just becomes another form of suffering. What do? I go. I still go to church. I still go to church with my mom every once in a while. I think I went maybe 4 weeks ago. 4 or 5 weeks ago I went. It was cool. They were giving the gospel, and I was retranslating all that shit. Like, I would look at it this way. Right? It was a good gauge of my own sense of superiority, right? It was my own gauge of, like, where are you really on this journey? Right? It was my own gauge. Lex, I can't tell if you're serious sometimes. I can't tell if you just in the comments playing games, or if you saying real things. Oh no, I ain't doing that. I'm not getting up and accepting nobody as my Lord and Savior. How do you accept being alone? You accept this moment. You accept that this moment is what it is, and you accept that you are who you are in this moment. We're not like, think about this, guys. You have this moment. You're not accepting being alone. You're just accepting that this moment is what it is, but this is the truth about me in this moment. That's what you're doing. You feel me? That is what you're doing. Keeping a relationship with people not doing the work. Yeah, what's interesting, the more that I am rooted, the more that the people around me simply change naturally, and our relationships morph, or just more people come into my life. Where right now my life feels abundant in all areas. I feel abundant in friendships, abundant in money, abundant in love, abundant in family. I feel abundant in health. I feel abundant in everything. But you're not accepting that you are lonely or alone. Why would you want to accept that? You're simply accepting that this moment looks the way it looks, and I'm still everything I desire to be in this moment. My thoughts on the now moment and feeling whole and complete, even if circumstances are not, it's not about feeling whole and complete. Feeling whole and complete can naturally flow to you, but first it's about the identity of just knowing that you're whole and complete. Why are you whole and complete? So when we say things like, I don't need anyone, but I want them because I'm already whole and complete, what does that actually mean? Are you just saying that as another affirmation to try to get something? Or are you recognizing that the reason we say that is because the fullness of God is within you? And if the fullness of God is within you, of course, you are everything that you desire to be. Right? You're everything that you desire to be. So if I know that the spark of God is within me, I'm the wholeness of God, then automatically it's just the truth. It's just my nature. It's just my being that I'm whole and complete. So it's a recognition of the truth within you. This is why the first thing that we do is we go back to the truth. What is the truth? I am already everything. All states, all realities, all timelines, everything exists within me. Now you can decide from there, I am everything I desire to be. And now you walk forward. You are whole and complete because all realities exist within you. Now, does the feeling of being whole and the feeling of being complete show up? Yes. But even waiting for those things is conditions. You're putting a condition on the unconditional. You just are whole and complete. Now, of course, naturally those things are going to come. Those feelings will come. However, it's not about the feelings. It's just the recognition of truth. When you recognize that truth, now what? Boom. You can get what you want. John Plott came out here freaky as hell on a Friday night. Yes, that's right, Rona. So when we talk about free will, think about it like this, okay? Think about it like this. Do not, when you think of people, you can think of them as their own autonomous, sovereign beings. However, you only interact with the version of them that matches the version that you have of them within your consciousness. Let's go a little bit further. The same way that there's infinite yous within you, there's infinite thems within them. So now, how this person shows up to you is based on how you see yourself through their eyes. The eye with which I see God is the same eye with which God sees. It is pointing back in this divine circle. So you're looking at God. God is looking as you. God is looking back at you as well. The same awareness, the same river, the same awareness that animates you is the same awareness that animates them. There is only one. There is no separation. There is just the illusion of two. All right? So, now, when you meet somebody, are most people, when they're meeting someone, are most people walking around saying, this is who I am, so this is how people are going to treat me? Or are most people waiting to get an impression of somebody and saying their first impression matters? And then when they get that impression of somebody, they're all of a sudden changing who they are. And they're saying, this person's mean to me. This person is rude. This person's a cheater. Yada, yada. How are most people going through life? Well, it's that second way. Most people aren't actually determining who they are. They're just determining who that person is. Now, let's say that you decide somebody is rude. What would it take for them to convince you that they're not rude? Even if they hinted towards it, you would still be like, this motherfucker's still rude. It's not until you open your perspective of them that they can show up in a different way. You wouldn't even accept them showing up in a different way, which would just lead them back to reverting to rudeness with you, because you don't have the perspective to engage with them in a different version. So they're going to constantly show up the other way. All right? This is the same way. Think about this. Think about this. Think about this. Think about this. This is backwards manifestation. Manifestation doing the moonwalk. Okay? You've decided this person is rude. They show up trying to be nice. You still say, I just don't trust it. This motherfucker's still rude. Eventually, they go back to being rude. Flip it on its head. You decide this person loves you because you are loved. They love you. They show up and it looks like they're not loving you. Does anybody understand what I just said? Are you hearing me? So now, all of a sudden, you stay in the knowing that they love you, and all of a sudden, things unfold to prove it to you. It's almost as if you've been doing this your whole life. When does that person finally change? When you are curious and open to them changing. What actually draws that change out? It's not typically you forcing them to change. It's you saying, you know what? It's okay. I'm not going to take this shit personal. Maybe I misread it. I'm going to be open and see what happens. Then you approach that situation again, and all of a sudden, your perspective of them changes, and that changes everything. It changes everything. And so now, even from a human perspective, we'll explain this very logically. That when you're open to things, things change. But this is a very metaphysical thing that happens. We're just often so in the stories that we don't realize how powerful we are. It starts with you. Are you open to a new version of that person? No, that wasn't your perspective, Maddie. Those things happen, right? Everything just simply happens. However, now you get to say, who are you in this moment? It makes no sense for me to go back and be like, oh, was I doing that? Was I doing that? Was I doing that? Did I create that? What if you never find out? Let's play the game. Let me play devil's advocate. What if you never find out? And you're constantly just thinking that you created it and trying to figure out why and figure out how and figure out how to change it. Listen to what I'm saying, Maddie. Right? So now you don't know how, but you think that you did it. You think you created it. Okay? And you think you've created it, and so you're trying to figure out how to change it. What did I do wrong? All you're doing is now you're taking that meaningless situation and you're attaching meaning to it. You're saying, until I figure it out, it can't change. Instead, just decide who you are. I am perfect. I am everything I desire to be. Therefore, if I'm everything I desire to be and I desire them not to be like that, it must unfold this way. That's it. That's it. Do we need to have a discussion on, like, what do we need to have a discussion on? Give me some options right now. I ain't gonna lie. Why I asked that way is some of y'all's questions are alarming me tonight. Some of y'all's questions are like, it feels like we're going back in the past. So what's going on? What do y'all want the topics to be moving forward? Is that new version of that person created by you also? If you're the creator, yeah. Why is it the unfolding not always a straight? It is a straight path. You are the path. How is it not a straight path? Oh no, we're going backwards. Oh no. So it's never the opposite. It's just our lens haven't changed, so we still see the same way. Yes. Exactly. Do we make room for the chronically hurtful, toxic relationships to change as you change yours? Oh, boundaries is always a good one. Boundaries is always a good one. I would say we don't put ourselves in dangerous situations, for sure. Like, I'm not going to tell you to stay in a situation and get beat up. Right? We have to do what's right for us, but can you hold on to the truth that you're still what you desire to be and allow it to unfold? Some situations the most loving thing for God to do for himself might be stepping away in the moment. Do I believe in manifesting a specific person? Yeah. Yeah, I feel backwards. How is that? I felt amazing for 2 months. Uh-oh. We're going back to feelings. We're going back to feelings being the truth. You're not backwards, unless you say you are right now. You are God, your source. You can decide right now, nothing has changed. Everything is still working out. You just feel a certain type of way. You're still the person you desire to be. You're still everything you desire to be. I know, right? We're going to have to get out the diagrams and the whiteboard. The gods with amnesia for sure. I don't care if you have a bad day, a bad week, a bad hour, a bad minute. You're still everything that you desire to be. What even is bad but a label that you're placing on you're just feeling, you're just having emotions. And now you're saying it's bad. It's just an emotion. It's not bad. There's nothing bad going on. You're in the desired reality. You are the reality. You are the timeline. You are who you desire to be. That's it. Point blank, period. Everything else is just a story that you make up. Oh, I just don't feel good. Oh, I'm off. Oh, the path isn't straight. Oh, this. Oh, that. Those are all just make-believe stories. They're just fantasy world. This fantasy land. It doesn't exist. It's not the truth. What's up, Emma? How to stop living illusions. Basically, SP basically talked to me about his girlfriend tonight. It feels awful, but I know the truth. Basically? What does basically mean? He basically talked to you about his girlfriend? How to stop living illusions, or is life an illusion? I'm confused. Life is it's not an illusion, it's a real experience. What you perceive to be reality could be an illusion, right? Because you are reality. The experience is real. It feels real, tastes real, yada, yada. It's just not what it seems, because the truth is much more profound. At some point, should I see all these people complaining about the SP shifts? I got them. Alexis, that's the point. But. Nah, I ain't finna have that discussion with your ass. I ain't finna have that discussion with you. Ooh, not with you. Not with you. Not with you. All right. What do you think that you have the perspective to even see everybody saying that they have manifested their SPs? Do you think that you even are open to being able to see that? If you say yes, I believe you. Even though right now you're saying that you're not. Yeah. I have been thinking also about kind of the engagement in the Discord and on the streams. Because I can guarantee right now, if I was like, all right, if you've manifested something that you desire, go on and type, I've manifested something I desire in the chat, people would do it, right? Matter of fact, y'all can do it if you want. But what tends to happen in these spaces is, let's say that there's 70 people on here. Let's say that in the Discord there's 400 people. How many people are active out of that? What percentage of those people are actually getting what they want, right? And then we have like personal calls. We have personal success stories that people share, right? Are the people that are really getting what they want, are they, unless they're quote unquote teaching or trying to help others, or they just really enjoy the community, like, are those the ones commenting, asking questions? The people that have received the SPs or the money, are they the ones that are front and center asking the questions? It's not meant to be a mean question. It's just something to think about, right? Like, we want all this proof, but the people that are living the life that they want, are they the ones asking a million questions? So, I mean, even looking for proof becomes difficult as well, right? Even looking for proof becomes difficult, because the only people looking for proof are the ones that need proof, and the people that need proof are the ones that aren't the proof, and the people that aren't their own proof are the people that don't have what they want. So, I mean, obviously, I can tell y'all success story after success story. We can read off success stories. We can have lives with success stories. It's not going to convince y'all, and y'all know that's not going to convince y'all. Like, don't even act like the whole thing that a success story will convince y'all is a fairy tale. I'm not buying the shit. It sounds good, but I guarantee that most of y'all here, you've heard over 100 success stories. You've heard success stories from me, from other people, from other creators, on Reddit, on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. You've seen all kinds of people give success stories. It's never been enough. So I hear you. But you looking for proof outside of yourself, that's defeating the entire point. Just wanting to be feel, not wanting. All right, that's cool. SP content is often unbearable. Sorry, y'all. It is. It's often idol worshiping. It's and there was a time where I was just kind of being very brutal on the SP folks, right? And I still believe that I understand the sacredness of the journey and how it requires a more delicate approach to bring somebody around. Maybe that's an assumption that I have. But I've also seen where, like, I've talked to somebody about the SP journey and they seem to like buy in, and they go have 3 other conversations that are like, oh, I don't know, like I and then it's like this gentle bringing them back to self, right? And one thing about the SP journey, it's also difficult because you can slip into such a state of desperation that you can just be searching for every voice. And you have 18 different perspectives in your head, and you wonder why you feel confused all the time. Because every single drop of it, you're trying to take everybody, and it's like now you're listening to people. This person doesn't even have experience with an SP. They've never even got their own shit. And so you're constantly looking for just something to hang on to. But I remember when I first got into the manifesting space, I didn't believe in the SP manifestation for a while. I didn't believe in it for a while. It took me looking at love in a different lens to actually come around to it. Right. And it was more so romanticizing the journey of the beloved and the lover, right? The journey of God embracing God. That's what I really like, is the poetry of romance, the poetry of love. I believe that when you're obsessed with somebody and you need somebody and you're spamming a live chat, how do I get my SP? She left me, she blocked me, yada yada, please help, please help. I don't think that's romance at all. I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's love. But that stepping back and that recognition that I am love. That's why I go so hard on those love lectures. That recognition that I am love and I can have whatever I want, right? I think that right there is beautiful. But I've been on the journey for 8 months and he won't text me back and I'm crying every night because I miss him and I need him, and that person is finally I can live my life when they come back. It's just a part of me sees that and I'm like, damn, do you not understand who you are? That's the part that gets me, is the not being able to recognize who you are.